What it do, what it do, what it do? It's your boy, Silly Cell, and we back in here with another episode of Juice City Legends. If you have not, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel. Let me give a shout out to my player partner, Man So Crazy TV. Alright gang, I got something special for y'all today, man. So if y'all tapped in with me on social media, on my Facebook page, which is Marcel Washington, on my Instagram, which is LL Cool Cell, then y'all saw the post that I made about me telling my story about how I got into music, why it didn't work out with me in music, my history, why I love music so much. And so I had decided to do my own story. I've been doing interviews on everybody else, giving everybody else their flowers. So, you know what I'm saying? I said, man, why not take the time out to do a video about myself? Well, actually, since this is about myself, I got all the information. I got all the time. We're probably going to do this in a multiple part series. I don't know how long, but I'm going to start from the beginning and work my way up to me doing Juice of the Legends, which is part of my music career as well, because I have a platform that I share with others to make sure they get their music out. So for you all who don't know me, I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I grew up on a street called Dewitt Street off Bay Avenue. If you ever been to Jackson, Mississippi, it's located in the Wood Street area, in like right on the other side of Georgetown. My mother and father weren't together, but they did their parts and made sure that I had everything I needed. I might have not had everything I wanted. Most of the time I did, but I had loving parents, good family from my dad's side, my mama's side. I got to shout out all my uncles and my aunties. So I came up in a loving family, man. Like I say, some people, they think they know me, want to call me spoiled, this and that. We grew up in the hood, man. We just grew up with people that worked and did what they supposed to do, and you know what I'm saying, we had most of everything we needed. But I did grow up in the hood. I'm not expendable from struggling. We struggle, you know what I'm saying, but we work hard, man, you know what I'm saying. So my childhood was pretty good, man, you know what I'm saying. I can't say, I'm not gonna get on here and do like everybody else and try to make it seem like their childhood was so bad. Mine wasn't, man. It wasn't all good neither, but at the same time, I didn't grow up in a situation where I was abused or nothing. I went without anything. Whatever, I had loving people, they took care of me. Like I said, I probably didn't get every new pair of Jordans. I probably didn't have all the new games, but I had everything I needed, man. But my first talent was drawing. I was drawing before I even went to school, man. I could read before I went to school. I was very talented at drawing or whatever. I was like advanced for my age or whatever. I was like 3-4 years old drawing real pictures or whatever. And everybody always told me I was gonna be talented in art. So when I got to elementary, that's pretty much what my talent was. I was kind of quiet, but around people that I was comfortable around, I was a little bit more free, man. Had fun or whatever. But I was always good in drawing, man. In fact, I was in every contest in my elementary, which I went to Galloway Elementary School, and I won like, I ain't gonna lie, I won first place in every last one of them, man. Every year I was there, man. They put me in a competition where I competed against everybody in JPS. I can't remember if it was my 3rd grade year or my 4th grade year, but I came in first place. I beat everybody in the city, man, you know what I'm saying? So I was very talented in drawing. But my passion for music started way back when I was young. I always loved music. My grandmother, Ida, they used to have cookouts, and they would listen to a lot of Tyrone Davis and Johnny Taylor, Lil Mills, and people like that. My grandma, Yvonne, which is my mom, she listened to a lot of Temptations, James Brown, Jay Blackfoot, the OJs. So I grew up on a lot of soul music. So that's why I love so much soul music to this day, because my grandparents put me on that. My mother, she listened to a lot of R&B. She used to love Bobby Brown, Gerald Levert, Keith Sweat, artists like that. My dad, I remember my dad, he was a fan of like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, people like that. I remember one period my dad would listen to a lot of Bob Marley and things of that nature. So my musical range is very broad, man. I grew up on all type of music. My auntie Sheila and Bridget, they put me on a lot of hip hop music. My auntie Sheila, she used to like to dance all the time, so they listen to all the Two Live Crew, 69 Boys, and all that type of stuff. My aunt Bridget, she put me on a lot of music. In fact, she the one who put me on the Wood Street Players. She had the cassette back in the day, and I listened to a lot of music growing up, man. But I didn't get a taste to want to rap until I was like in the 4th grade, man. I actually made a diss song about a dude in my class, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. I ain't gonna say his name. He really one of my partners or whatever. I just was hating on him because he was dating this pretty girl that I like. And I made a diss song about him, but I never put the song out or nothing like that. I more so wrote the song and recorded it on my little tape recorder I had at home, but I never let nobody listen to it or what, because we were shy to let people know we rapped and stuff like that back then. That was my first time trying to rap in like the 4th grade. And I want to say the beat that I used was one of Bone Thugs and Harmony instrumentals. Because when Bone Thugs came out, man, they were just so different. Their style was just so unique. All us, everybody on my block on DeWitt Street, we were trying to mimic Bone Thugs. And we were trying to mimic them guys or whatever, and it kind of made everybody get the inspiration or the creative bug to want to do music. But I still wasn't full-fledged into music. And I remember one year when I was like in the 5th grade. I don't know if y'all remember the song, I wish I was a little bit taller, I wish I was a baller, I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. That song right there, I think the guy named Skilo that sang that song. I was listening to that one day. It was a Friday night, I still remember this. My cousin and them, they was all over there spending the night because everybody used to spend the night at my grandma's house on the weekends. And this song came on some movie or something we were watching. And I had that little tape recorder that my Uncle George had gave me. And I remember trying to make up a little rap to that song right there. I can't remember what I said or whatever, but I made a little rap, and I remember I used to call myself Pimp T at the time because I know I'm go by Sally Cell on YouTube, but actually my first name is Terrence. So I used to call myself Pimp T. Of course, I got that from the late great Pimp C because I was a fan of UGK, 8Ball and MJG, the Scarface, the Ghetto Boy, a lot of the Southern groups. So I was calling myself Pimp T at the time. But I still didn't fully fledged get into music yet. But I remember when I was in like the 3rd or 4th grade, my dad took me and my brother to a Lanier High School football game. And when I heard they marching band, I instantly wanted to be in the band, man. It wasn't Jackson State, even though I used to love Jackson State band. When my grandmother and my aunt and them used to take us to the Christmas parades and the homecoming parades or whatever. I love Jackson State band or whatever. Lanier band actually made me want to be in the band. So I remember like yesterday, we get to 6th grade. It was me and my homeboy Michael Tim, man. Shout out to my boy Lil Mike, man. We had already been talking about it, man. We gonna get in the band, bro, when we get to school. And it was like destiny was waiting on us. The first day we went to Rowan Middle School, shout out to Mr. Green. He was in the hallway. He said, which one of y'all want to be in the band? He pointed at me, he pointed at Mike. We said we wanted to be in the band. So we ended up changing our elective class to get in the beginner band class to learn how to play instruments. My mama went and got me a little trombone because he told me I had long arms. He was like, you gonna play trombone. I wanted to play trumpet because my big cousin Derek, he played trumpet. And Derek was real cool, whatever, had the ladies or whatever. I wanted to be like my cousin Derek. My mama, she went and bought me a trombone. At the time or whatever, a lot of people in my neighborhood was in the band. I didn't know about the cliche that you supposed to be a band geek and all that type of stuff until like I got to high school or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I never went through that. You know what I mean? Cause I was always cool. Like I always dressed good. I had enough street swag, cause I was actually from DeWitt Street and I was related to people that was in the street, so I had respect. Nobody wasn't gonna bother me. I dressed good. I was good with the ladies, you know what I'm saying? I could play ball, football, basketball, and stuff like that. So I wasn't an outcast. So I knew anything. I didn't know anything about people being the band geek and all that for being in the band. But long story short, my 6th grade year, I ended up joining the band. About a week later, me and my homeboy, dude that I met at Rowan, this dude named Roger Little. Roger Little now is the band director at Jackson State. Me, him, and my other partner, James Williams, that we used to call Big James, we was all cool or whatever. All of us could draw. We were like the best drawers, artists at Rowan Middle School. And me and Big James had already knew each other from my aunt and his sister being best friends. So me and him was already boys. So they had us in choir class or whatever. And shout out to this, my choir teacher, Miss Cry. She came to us one day. She was like, I need some boys in the choir, man. We don't have no dudes in the choir. I'm like, man, I'm not singing in no choir, man. She was like, just try it. I think you would do good. She was like, it ain't number of girls in there. You know, at the time, I'm a little 12-year-old, 11 to 12-year-old, man. I'm crazy about the girls. Then at my middle school, we had some of the pretty girls in Jackson, man, that run in. At least to me, we did. And she convinced us or whatever. I want to say my boy Eagle, shout out to my boy Eagle. I want to say Eagle was in the choir with us too. But she convinced us to come to choir practice one day. And I came to choir practice. I seen all them girls. Then it was the fine, pretty, light-skinned girl, dark-skinned, whatever. All of them was in the choir. I'm like, I'm convinced. I'm down with it. So we got in the choir. When I got in the choir and I was in the marching band, the beginning band, that's when I learned to read music. Every day I was in band practice. Well, I wasn't in band practice in middle school or whatever. We just took band class. I was actually in band choir practices after school or whatever, learning how to read music, practicing, learn how to sing, how to sing from your diagram and all that type of stuff. And you know what I mean? I was in music, 6th grade or whatever. I actually got to participate in an all-city competition. We sung in all type of events or whatever. I never thought I would do something like that because I never considered myself a singer. But my teacher used to tell me, you got a good voice and all that type of stuff right there. So that was my first introduction to music, man. Singing in the choir in middle school at Rowan Middle School. In fact, me, my boy Roger Little, my other partner Marcus Austin, and my boy Big James, we formed a group. We started singing or whatever. We started singing in like talent shows or whatever. And it was before I started rapping or whatever. I was singing first or whatever. And I remember we sung the song "If I Ever Fall in Love" by Shy. And y'all wouldn't believe who beat us in the contest, in the talent show. It was actually Monte Ellis and my partner Head. I think Fraud from Wood Street was up there with them, and some more guys. They beat us in the talent show, man. I still say y'all gave it to Monte because he was a hooper, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Monte Ellis though. But yeah, man, that choir thing, I actually did that, man. I did it 6th and 7th grade or whatever. Because my 8th grade year, Miss Christ, I don't remember. I think she stopped working there. She retired or something like that. And I only did it 6th and 7th grade or whatever. And I had a lot of fun. Like I said, we sung almost everywhere. That was my first time going to Houston, Texas with my choir. So like I said, this music thing with me go deep, man. I've been doing that. And also, I played in the marching band. So like I said, 6th grade, we were in the beginner band. But 7th grade year is when we got to play with the band. And like I said, at this time in the 90s, 96, 97 or whatever, it ain't like how it is now, man. If you was in the band, you were pretty cool, man. And we had one of the best bands in the city, man. Rowan, nobody didn't want to see us. Our only competition was Northwest. And a lot of them kids that went to Northwest, they ended up going to Callaway and Provine. And we all know back in those days, Callaway and Provine, especially Callaway, had probably the biggest and best band in Jackson. But my middle school band, our band director, Mr. Green, who went to Lanier, also played in the Sonic Boom. He was one of the coldest ones, man, you know what I'm saying? And the thing I liked about Mr. Green, he let us play like a Jackson State style band. A lot of the other schools, they played concert style bands, meaning that they play the quote-unquote white type of songs. But he let us get down like Jackson State. Like, we was blowing, man, you know what I'm saying? In fact, our band was so good. Our band in Northwest was so good, and it was so entertaining at the time, they came to the game to see us. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like how it is nowadays. You got 10 people in the band. We might have had 90 to 100 people in our band. In Northwest, they was almost 200 strong, looking like high school bands or whatever. And we were so good, us in Northwest, that we got into they had the middle school battle of the band. The only one that I remember them having in history. It was right after our basketball game. It was the last game of the year. Rowan and Northwest basketball game. Everybody came to the basketball game, but they made everybody exit the game and re-enter to pay to get in to see Northwest against Rowan, man. I say we came out victorious that night. I don't know what they say. I feel like we had more songs than them. They might have had. They didn't bring their whole band because Northwest was deep. But we went heads up with them, man. And, you know, that was my, how I first got into music, man, playing in the band and singing in the choir. My 8th grade year, I ended up flunking, you know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to moving with Jackson, and I went to Hardy for 1 year. I didn't know what I wanted to do, because like I say, I was in the beginner band 6th grade. I played in the marching band 7th grade. I get in the 8th grade, my first 8th grade year. My choir director lead, my band director lead. So I go and play football for a year or whatever. And played in every game or whatever. Did pretty good. So I ended up going to Hardy that next year. I was undecided on what I wanted to do. I went out there with the football team. I really got my shine on them. They really was on me or whatever. But I didn't grow up with them guys. It wasn't no camaraderie with them guys, so I really didn't want to play football with them. So I was like, I'm gonna get this band thing one more time, one more chance. And shout out to Miss Lord, man. Miss Lord was one of the best band directors in JPS history, man. She had people like David Mountain was in her band. They were known for having like making superior ratings and all that type of stuff in the band. Miss Lord always had a good band, and when I went to Miss Lord and played in Hardy band, I got to learn music. I also made All City at Hardy. Like I said, you had to read music at Hardy. It wasn't all that old swag Jackson State band playing stuff like that. We used to get blew out in the stands. I didn't like that right there at all. But when we went to competition, man, we got superior ratings, man. Superior ratings is like the best range you can get or whatever. And I did that, man. You know what I'm saying? And also, when I got to Hardy, is where I got back on the rap stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm telling y'all all about my music stuff. I ain't talking about no hood stuff. I can tell y'all about that, man. You know what I'm saying? But I just be trying to tell y'all, everybody from the hood ain't trying to act all tough. I can tell y'all about all type of stuff. I'm talking about trapping, fights and stuff that I was in at a younger age, the gang banging era. I come up in that era. We did all that. You know what I'm saying? I can tell y'all all about that. But I don't want to try to make myself look like I'm such a thug, because I'm not. I grew up in the hood. I grew up around certain things, but I had a good family around me that supported me and let me be able to do things other than hang around the neighborhood and do the wrong thing. So I was in the band. I was in the choir. I played football. But I'm getting off subject. But when I was at Hardy, that's when I ended up getting back on the rap, man. One of my partners, who's still my partner to this day, my partner Solomon, he was from West Jackson, you know what I'm saying? He was in the band. My cousin Darren, he was in the band as well. One of my best friends that I met at Hardy, one of my best friends to this day, Jessica, she was in the band as well. And I was like, I'm gonna just get back in the band or whatever. And me and Solomon them ended up getting cool or whatever, hanging out. And one day I went over to Solomon's house, and they started rapping, man. You know what I'm saying? Solomon made a diss song about some guys that they had a little altercation with, man. You know what I'm saying? And they made a diss song about some guy they had an altercation with. And I jumped on the song or whatever, and we called ourselves the Big Body Boys. And the Big Body Boys, everybody who was in there was me, Solomon, my cousin DJ, and Dacian Young. But the Big Body Boy was really their thing. Some people still call my boy Solomon Big Body to this day, man. That was his thing. That was his little slogan he used to say all the time. I got to be in the Big Body Boy because we used to all hang out together. We was all in the band together. We used to go to the skate ring together and all that type of stuff and hang out or whatever. But that was my first rap group that I was in. But we really didn't do too much rapping. We did more so hanging out and trying to holler at chicks or whatever, going to the mall trying to get fresh or whatever, than rapping. But we did have a little group called the Big Body Boys. And but like I said, my boy Solomon, he ended up getting into that altercation with them guys. And he ended up transferring, going to Blackburn or whatever. But I still was cool with him. But in that time while I'm going to Hardy, it's some guys that stay on the other side where I stay at. And that was my homeboy Michael Hilliard. My other partner, Alan Blackman. We had another partner named Marcus Lee. And my other partner, rest in peace, Dexter Johnson. I was hanging around them boys. See, Dexter, he was trying to rap. My boy Mike, he wasn't really trying to rap, but he was just a class clown. He used to bust out freestyles or whatever. And so all of them used to rap or whatever. So I think my boy Mike came up with the name the Doom Doom Boys or whatever. It's crazy how we got that name, the Doom Doom Boys. It's because my boy Mike, he was beatboxing the salt and pepper beat. Doom, 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 doom. And the man was so crazy, man. If y'all know Michael Hilliard, man, y'all know Mike was a fool with it. He started saying, man, we the Doom Doom Boys, man, we the Doom Doom Boys or whatever. So we started saying that. And back then, this is 99. It was a time when people used to go out and have fun and dance or whatever. And at that time, I used to dance. I ain't gonna lie, I used to get down on the floor, man. I used to cut a rug. And around that time we had started blazing or whatever. I'm about 14 years old or whatever. Around that time we had started blazing trees or whatever a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to a lot of house parties and school dances or whatever. And we ended up meeting this dude named Robert. I can't remember Robert's last name, but he stayed across the street from me in Camelot. And one day in the summertime, we all went over to Robert's house. I think Robert's last name was Robert Young, man. Shout out to Robert. But we all went to Robert's house one day, and he had a little shed in his back room or whatever, and he had some instrumentals. Robert was already rapping because he had some cousins, some older cousins that would get down with the music or whatever. And we were recording music, and guess what we were rapping to? We were rapping the Bone Thugs and Harmony, the same song, the same instrumental that I wrote my first rap off of back in 4th grade. And I remember like one day, man, we was not the studio, but we was in Robert's shed like for a whole day, just smoking and writing raps or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And recording, we had a little tape recorder that we recorded ourselves on, and we was going in, man, doing the raps or whatever. And that led to, even when we went over Robert House, when we would out come on my house, because I remember at that time when the #1 Stunner came out, when the Big Timers album, I Got That Work. We were all in my house. We would listen to that Project, not Project Pat. We was listening to Project Pat, but we didn't rap off of that. We were rapping off of Pastor Troy. This what song was that? Vice Versa. Cause my partner had the tape, and they had the instrumental on the other side, and we were rapping off of that. We rapped off of the #1 Stunner beat, and we rapped off of Bone Thugs and Harmony, For the Love of Money. And I promise you, we had 30 different songs off them 3 songs right there, man. And that's pretty much. But I still didn't necessarily want to be a rapper at that time. I was just rapping just because that's what all me and my friends were doing. I wasn't trying to hone my skills. I never practiced. All I felt like I was cool. I felt like, you know what I'm saying, I could just freestyle and go off the dome and come up with some cool stuff or whatever. And that's pretty much how I did it, man. I didn't consider myself a rapper at the time. I just started taking my rhyme serious to a little bit later on, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's almost 30 minutes since I've been on here, and this is episode 1 of the DewittCell story, man. You know what I'm saying? So y'all tune in, man. I promise I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna keep on hitting it with it till I complete the story, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in, man. I'm smiling because, hey, man, we having fun, man. Like I said, I can get on here and talk a bunch of gangster stuff. It's a lot of stuff I left out in my life story. I'm not telling my life story. I'm telling y'all about how I got into music or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm from Dewitt Street, man. It's no caps in my rap, bro. I can tell y'all all the gangster stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna do that, man. We just gonna focus on something positive, man, because my life wasn't a nightmare, man. You know what I'm saying? It was good, bad. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody tuning in, man. It's your boy DewittCell with Juice City Legends. We checking out, man. Y'all stay tuned. Peace.